Mikkel, call me Mike Chase. BYU's defense is legit, and it's going to keep them in a lot of games. K-State better not overlook them. It's a night game in elevation. I don't understand where BYU fan is right now. And if somebody wants to enlighten me, I am all ears because I don't get it. I truly do not understand it. BYU gets what I think was a really good performance out of Jake Retzlaff. And again, you have BYU fan ripping Jake Retzlaff, your starting quarterback. Give me Gary, don't call me Jerry Bohannon, which I've never understood. You're not winning a game if Gary Bohannon's your quarterback. You would be 0-3. Jake Retzlaff has played a significant role in your success this season. Has he turned the ball over? Yes, he has. Has Jake Retzlaff made every throw? He has not. Has he been accurate? He has not. Down the field, he has really struggled. He missed Darius Lasser on 2 touchdown throws. Caught him on a third, but he missed Darius Lasser this past weekend on throws that should have been touchdowns. But he's also made 4, and I think I could argue 5, based on some of the Chase Roberts throws. He's made 4 throws and 1 run that without him in the game, those plays don't happen and you don't win the game. You would be, in my opinion, if Gary Bohannon was a starter, you would be lucky to be 1-2. Jake Retzlaff is an elite performer at quarterback. And we're going to find out. The guy's got arm talent for days. He's got to clean up the throws down the field. Got to. The interception this past weekend, terrible. Cannot underthrow that ball at the goal line. Totally agree with that. But how do you criticize a guy in Jake Retzlaff who has made incredible throws? His read options, he has not made a mistake in the read option outside of that one fumble. Jake Retzlaff has been very good for a first-year full-time starter. And I read you his numbers earlier. Jake Retzlaff has been very good. And now K-State's coming to town. And I will just say it all week, K-State fan. Do not undersell BYU and how difficult it is to come to Provo and win. Because BYU has for years, and you can ask any of those old Pac-12 teams that came into Provo on Saturday nights to die. And you look at BYU, and you look at the way that they have been able to win games at home. And I look at their win. It's the Cincinnati win last year comes to mind, or Texas Tech last year comes to mind. And I'll just continue to tell you, teams go to BYU at night to die. It's that simple. And I will continue to say, like, obviously you look at some of the more difficult games, like you're talking about big performances where, I mean, you're in games that you shouldn't be in, but as K-State's not going to be able to perform for 4 quarters at the level that you're able to perform at home or just about anywhere else. Because like Laramie, why was BYU so successful this weekend at Laramie when nobody else seems to be able to do that? Because they played altitude already. Altitude is a great equalizer when it comes to athletic performance. And K-State better be ready. But I look at that. I look at Jake Retzlaff, and it is beyond me that BYU fans are still calling for him to be benched. I don't understand it. I really do not. I look at the way, like, go back to the SMU game. Was he stellar in the SMU game? Certainly he was not. But boy, did he make 3 plays to win that game. That read option pitch, which we saw again this weekend, executed to perfection. The throw late in the game, like, Jake Retzlaff is your guy. And if you're a BYU fan, I'm begging you to embrace that. I'm begging you to embrace that, because this cat is the real deal. Jake Retzlaff, I'm telling you, I think after this weekend, I can make an argument he's top 5 quarterbacks in this league. And this league is built. I'll take Jake Retzlaff over Avery Johnson. I'll take Jake Retzlaff over Alan Bowman. For certain. Now, I also think Hoover needs a lot more respect than he's getting at TCU. But I think I could make the argument that there's Baron Morton. I think the jury's still out a little bit on Baron Morton, but not much. I think Baron Morton, Jake Retzlaff, like there's some young guns in this league. And Jake, again, is a redshirt junior. So I don't know that I'd call him young. But you look at the guys that are emerging in this league at quarterback, Jake Retzlaff's at the top of that group because the guy can straight up sling the rock. And until BYU fans get on board with that, it is beyond comprehension that he throws one interception and BYU fan is this weekend yelling and screaming about how you've got to put in Gary Bohannon. Shut up. And I just don't understand every single year, it's the backup quarterback at BYU. And I think at some point we need to stop painting BYU fans as this elite fan base until you stop saying stupid S like putting Gary Bohannon after one interception by a quarterback who throws the ball a lot. You got to stop with that. BYU fans on the whole are fantastic. But the vocal minority, which is really all that defines a fan base to begin with, the vocal minority is it's tough to deal with, man. Like it is. I do not, and being here in Utah, engaging with Ute fan and folks, that is an emotional battle on a week in, week out basis. All the Ute fans that bought in hook, line, and sinker that Cam Rising's out for the year, like I have no sympathy for you because it was so clearly a fake tweet. But Ute fan got miserable and is what it is, right? But BYU fan, you're not far behind Utah fan, especially calling for Gary Bohannon to start over Jake Retzlaff is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. ACC West Coast Commissioner Gumby. Calford tossing out memberships like the student section. Exactly right. Exactly right. Tony Barber, hello. Oregon finally stacked the box more to stuff OSU's running in the second half. They should have just put 8 guys in the box all game. That's what I would do against K-State. I agree 100%, Tony. Midweek Coug, I thought running the option by UW on 4th and goal was hilarious. I still don't understand it. James, UCF has a good coach. That's why they won. They have good players too. And listen, I know that throw by Gus Malzahn, where down the road, where Gus came in the game, he took off the headset, put on a helmet, and that actually didn't. Gus Malzahn doesn't. Scott of Greywater Watch. I had a hell of a weekend. Texans, Aggies, and fantasy wins. Yeah. Nervous times for the Texans last night. Nervous times, which is fine. It's fine. Steve Stepanek, Big 12 is doing just as good as any conference. They are. Absolutely. Lopes fan Gabe, I spent the last 2 days at a travel ball tournament, so no, we did not have a weekend. Oh, I loved every game that I got to go to watch my son play baseball. Something you go through as a parent once. Because bad news, it's not going to get cheaper and the weather's not going to get cooler. So, yeah. And little Lope is like not young. So he's got a lot of travel ball ahead of him. Do you guys understand how expensive travel baseball specifically has gotten? And then once you get to the really in high school, but once you get to serious 7th, 8th grade, like once you get into all that, ooh,